Skate Talk Online, the ultimate figure skating resource.
Hey guys, it's Zach Donohue here.
And Madison Hubbell. We are the reigning U.S. national champions and the world silver medalists.
First question, what is your process in selecting the music for both your rhythm and free dance this year? Do you guys have the input, or do you take the input from your coaches and choreographers? How much are you involved?
For the most part, we bring them kind of stuff that we've been thinking about. We start trying to find things throughout the season. We'll throw ideas back and forth between the two of us until we're all kind of on the same page about a few options, a few different styles, varieties, and then we'll bring them to the coaches and they kind of give us their feedback. And if all of them were kind of a hit and miss, then they'll throw something at us, and we'll kind of play back and forth as a group.
So, with that said, how did you come up with Romeo and Juliet, and what's your vision for the program?
Well, Zachary and I have kind of always tried to change up our free dance year to year. We're trying to explore a lot of different themes, and after 7 years together, we've tried many things, but one thing that we found we hadn't really tried was a classic. And we didn't think of this first. We were finding all different types of music. And the piece Kissing You by Desiree is something we've always really, really loved. And it was actually a meeting with Roman that we brought him many options we were thinking, and he liked all of them. And then I kind of said, well, there's this song I've always loved, but I'm not sure that we could do it as the whole soundtrack. And when he heard it, he kind of just said, well, why not? So he kind of opened our eyes to another facet of our partnership. And when we brought it up to Marie and Patrice, they had actually been listening to a bunch of songs on Spotify and had just that weekend set aside Kissing You for us as well. So it kind of seemed like the perfect sign that even though it was a little bit out of the ordinary for us, it was a great idea to kind of find another thing that we're capable of doing.
What is your favorite part of the choreographic process for each program? Do you have a specific thing that you like the most?
I love everything new. The discovery and the puzzle of choreography is kind of what I enjoy the most. Finding the pieces, figuring out what the pieces are, finding out where they fit, what works well, what things link, what are the corner pieces, what are the frame, what's the highlights, what are the things that really catch the eye and catch the heart. Because after that, it's the training part. Well, that's a lot harder.
And how long do you actually spend learning the programs? Does it vary? Like, does it take longer for the rhythm dance compared to the free dance, or is it about the same?
I think it depends on the year more than which dance, and I think that for Zach and I, because we like that process, and generally we actually skate quite well when things are fresh. Even between Salt Lake and now, we made a lot of changes to the program, and we kind of keep doing that throughout the year. I just feel like as we dive deeper, things change, our feelings change, our capabilities change as we get more in shape. So the process is kind of ongoing. But the initial process of I have no program to, okay, now there's no excuse to not do run-throughs. It's usually about a month and a half to 2 months. And that includes everything, learning the dance, figuring out what new lifts you want to do, probably 12 versions of the music cut. A lot of things go into that. And then usually it's about the end of July or early July that the coaches are like, oh, look, you have a finished program. So that's great. Guess what? You have to train.
Good. Going back to the process, so you have your programs. When do the costumes and the makeup and your hair, when does that all come into play? Does that come in while you're choreographing, or do you just get it done and then say, okay, let's try to find something that fits what we have created?
I would say that we have a strange advantage over many people, and that is that my mother has always been doing my costumes. Every once in a while during my career, like less than a handful of times, I've gotten a piece from someone else. But for the most part, she creates the pieces either from pictures or her own design. And so luckily she's like on call, basically. She's the best mom ever. And she's really patient with the process, because what we found over the years in skating is that, you try and be overly prepared at the beginning of the season, and, you pay how much money to get a dress and stone it and everything, and you bring it to your first competition and people are like, well, that's not really what I pictured. And it is challenging, what you think fits the program. Maybe when you actually put it on you, for whatever reason, it doesn't suit you. So we've been lucky that she does really fast work, and we usually try and wait as long as possible to kind of make those final decisions on costumes. We find it makes it a little bit more of a sure thing. And also my mom is amazing because she's willing to change things. I had 2 dresses that she just popped in the mail for Salt Lake for the tango, and today I tried a new one I'll be wearing at Skate America. And it's just a lot more budget friendly and a lot more realistic for us to have many dresses when my mom's making them. And hair and makeup, kind of the same. Like I'm you could define me as obsessed. It's like, it's my way of relaxing. So that's a constant experiment as well. I just love playing with makeup, and I'm the weirdo that will wake up at 5 a.m. at competition because I prefer to have 2 hours to do hair and makeup.
Okay. When you're in high season, what would your day be like? You wake up, you go to the rink. What happens from that point?
Well, the thing about training here is we get our schedule the night before you train. So, for the most part, we know a general time, especially if we have a workout. We know when we're going to have to work out outside of skating, but we don't know exactly when or what we're doing on the ice. And that took some getting used to. But generally, Zach and I do train more in the morning. So we might wake up around 5 or 6, and then we are usually on the ice for about somewhere between 3 and 4 hours. And we usually don't take much of a break. So we'll skate about an hour and a half, and then 15-minute break, and then an hour and a half, and then possibly more or less, depending on the day of the week. And we kind of try and get most of our on-ice training done by 1. And then 2 days a week, we're doing an hour of strength and conditioning, weight training in the gym.
3 days.
And 3 days a week. Well, I mean during the Monday to Friday, during the training week.
Gotcha.
And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we go and we do an hour of gym with our osteopath, which is a little bit more of typical strength and conditioning, cardio, agility, and just like that one is really injury prevention. He's so amazing, the guy we work with, of analyzing your body, so it really keeps us healthy. And then usually we do like weekly calls on Skype with our performance coach. And I do 2 nights a week yoga. So we try and pack in quite a bit Monday to Friday. And one thing we do here always is take a 2-day weekend.
So
and that's really,
at all. You don't do anything on the weekend involving skating?
Nothing involving skating. We will do the gym sometimes, weight training. I'll do yoga sometimes, but it's very much like we need 2 days to really relax, not really think about skating, and just let go of the week before and get ready for the next one. And that's something we started doing only when we were moving here, and it feels really good on a 27-year-old body.
So you alluded to kind of having a different schedule that you find out the night before. Would you say that's one of the hardest parts of moving to Montreal, or is there something else specifically that was really difficult once you moved?
Winter.
Yeah,
winter?
I would say that the winter takes a lot of getting used to. Like Michigan winters are intense, but they're just as intense, if not more, and then longer.
No, the thing is with winter here, it's like when I moved, I thought I had everything I needed. I was like, I have boots, I have coats. I lived in Michigan, it's the same. And then you get here and you're like, no, I need a parka, and I need like long furry boots, and I like it's not an exaggeration that you're full Eskimo gear every day.
What is it like training with some of the best teams in the world? Obviously, you train with Olympic champions, world champions. Does it get intimidating, or do you feel like once you made the move, it helped really push you further, seeing how you were on the ice with the best skaters in the world?
It's honestly been great. I think it did take a little bit of time to really get used to the fact that we just train with like the world champions now, and that's how that is. And then Tess and Scott are here training with 2-time Olympic medalists, and then you kind of start to realize it's not about them. Like we really started to own our own career and own who we are as a team, and I think that's what helped us find our success so much last year and in the previous years leading up to that. So yeah, it's great. But training with Gabby and Guillaume, we're not training with the world champions. We're training with Gabby and Guillaume, who we know as people and are fun on the ice. And the same now that we have Maddie and Evan and Caitlin and Jean-Luc here. Like I don't think about what their placement is or standing is in the U.S. It's like, oh, nice. Evan's gonna go do 1, 2, 3. I just finished mine. He's gonna need some help while I die here laying on the ice. Like, like it's a very, like we keep telling everyone in every interview that it's a very family-orientated training atmosphere, and we really do feel that way. I mean, everyone has a good communication. Everyone has lots of laughs. We're very supportive. There's no bad blood and there's no drama allowed, much less existing.
What do you think your biggest challenge will be competing this year? Do you have anything specifically that you have in mind? Maybe you're world silver medalist. Do you feel like that adds to the pressure now that you are on the world podium?
Oh, we were on the world podium. That was last year. So that's the first thing, is it's a whole new season. Go ahead.
One of the things we worked on since moving here is, taking every day as it comes and trying to be our best in the moment. So, we're incredibly proud of what we've accomplished in the last, all of our career, but in the last 3 years, and especially, last year was definitely a lot of new accomplishments. But it's last year, and you see it. I think there's a different viewpoint when it comes to dance in comparison to freestyle. So in freestyle, if someone is silver at Worlds, you're not like, oh, they're definitely going to be silver at Worlds next year, or they should definitely be on the podium. There's such an openness to whoever skates their best. And in ice dance, there definitely seems to be more of an expectation. Like you were there once and you gotta be there again. Or an entitlement. And that's something that Zach and I definitely don't feel. I think that we performed to deserve what we got last year, and if we don't keep pushing and we don't keep performing, we're not going to be there. So we take it one day at a time. I know that we personally want to, continue working on our artistry, our performance quality, our consistency, and those are things that it doesn't change whether or not we want to win or we want to be fifth. It's just that is our goal. So I don't think we feel any extra pressure. Just gratitude for the journey we were on last year and excitement for not knowing what's next.
So you said one of the things that you really wanted to do this year was try to branch out and do a new style. So with that, you picked kind of a classic free dance. Are there any other goals that you have in the next 4 years leading up to the next Olympics, or is it just day to day, season to season?
Next year we already know that the short dance or rhythm dance, I'm sorry. I'm not used to saying that yet, is Broadway. And that is all also something that is, there are many options, so it's not like you have to do something, super like traditional or expected, but kind of that more upbeat, very in your face, happy kind of thing isn't necessarily what we're known for. And so I think that we're definitely going to try and take that challenge and go as far with it as we can and look at it as another opportunity to grow. Other than that, I don't have any particular thing that's really on my mind, or I think because I'm just starting this project, I haven't really opened my mind onto what's next. Maybe it's usually around like December, January, when you feel like you're in the swing of things, that all of a sudden you'll be listening to the radio or watching something, and it sticks in your mind like, I wonder if that would be a good idea. But right now I'm just obsessed with Leonardo DiCaprio.
There's such a depth to U.S. ice dancing. Just 10 years ago, it really wasn't that way. 20 years ago, it was, if a team finished in the top 10, maybe the top 8, that was an accomplishment. Why do you think that the U.S. is so strong now in ice dance? When you look at it, really it's the strongest discipline that the U.S. has, and I don't think anyone imagined that 10 years ago that would be the case.
There are so many factors. The number one being luck. I think that we feel lucky to have the opportunities, to have the timing, to have found each other. I think Maddie and Evan also feel that way, to have been able to partner up and find each other in the moment that they were looking for another partner. And I think that besides just being lucky, having a lot of really talented people kind of coming up at the same time, we owe a lot to our federation. I think that they saw that lacking in ice dance, and they put a lot of time, attention, money into developing people and to bringing coaches in, into creating a program that really supported the athletes and pushed us to be competitive with each other first and foremost. And that's something that I know Zach and I, it's hard. It's hard in the moment that you're getting third over and over again at nationals. And it's hard to be there and be like, I just want to win, But for how hard we had to push to be national champions, that led us to becoming world silver medalists. And so I think that just creating this competitive environment between U.S. ice dancers and pushing for that, U.S. championship title, and, the officials in ice dance in the U.S. are so strong. We have so many committed judges and technical panel people that, it just kind of was a recipe for success. And hopefully we can keep riding the wave. And we'll just see. We have a lot of great juniors coming up, so hopefully everyone stays healthy and motivated, and we can just keep getting stronger and stronger.
I think that on top of that, all very valid and intuitive points, the judging system has changed a lot. I mean, yes, the U.S. has gone from, like you say, barely being able to make the top 10 to having some of the best in the world, but you look down a couple of spots, there's countries that no one would have ever thought would have a representative really giving everyone a run for their money. I mean, France, the same thing. I mean, there haven't been that many great teams, and now they've got a world champion, and not just in dance, but I think that this new system gives a lot more opportunities to all four of the disciplines, honestly.
What is something you wish people knew about ice dancing or skating in general? Probably ice dancing, though, because a lot of people seem to follow skating but not know anything about ice dancing.
Man, it's hard. I wish they knew everything, right? I think we were just talking about this today a little bit, because Zach was saying, like the spectator, it's hard for them. They don't know the rules, and the rules are quite complicated. And I said to him, like, I'm someone, for example, that never grew up watching football, like, ever in my life. And when I watch football, like, I can get the gist of it. I can get what the announcer is telling me. But, like, if you ask me all the rules or why they got a certain penalty, I wouldn't be able to tell you. So I wish that there was, more televised coverage. I wish that there was more exposure to this sport. I know that it requires equipment, it requires all of these things, but if there was a way to, get people involved into learning a little bit more about it, and learning the rules, and, maybe with this show, you can do technical segments and you can do little things that kind of educate people on why we're getting the points. Because now with the new judging system, it's so interesting for me, that I know most of the rules, obviously, for me to watch even junior events. I'm so intrigued by, watching the levels, and it makes a lot of sense. So I wish that people had, a place that it made it really easy to understand the sport a little bit better. And then they would understand how difficult it is, especially, as you said, ice dance, which maybe to the outside perspective, it looks, very perfect most of the time, very similar one person to another, because the difference might be that your blade is slightly more inclined. But that amount of precision obviously takes a lot of years to accomplish, and it is hard to perform like that on a daily basis. I think everyone should at least go one skating event live, and then they can make up their own judgment. Because I know that almost everyone I talk to that only watched it on TV, even fans, they come and they see it live and they're like, "Oh my God, I did not know you guys moved that fast. I didn't realize it was going to be like that much more to see the lifts and everything." So I hope that people start going out and watching the events live.
Who were some of your earliest influences in ice dance? When you were growing up, did you have teams that you really loved and wanted to be like when you were kids?
When I first started skating, I had no clue about ice dance. I grew up watching Christy Yamaguchi and wanting to be her, thinking that I could look like her if I skated, which didn't pan out. But and I watched a lot of pairs. And I just thought it would be so fun to be thrown through the air. Also didn't pan out. So when I switched to dance, I had many people that I watched, but I think I was skating with Evan Bates. We were training together in Ann Arbor, and one of my first memories of sitting there watching ice dance in the Olympics was 2006 when Tanith and Ben won silver. And that was really a huge moment for U.S. ice dance. And they had trained a couple times, on a random Sunday here and there at our arena. And it was really my first time being on ice with senior skaters. So definitely, they were so nice, and especially Ben was so outgoing with his personality and so warm that I just felt like I was so cool for knowing these people that just won a medal in the Olympics. So I think that was kind of my first team that I really was like, that's amazing, and I want to do what they're doing.
And I would say for me, I've actually been fortunate enough to meet every idol I've ever had in skating. So growing up in Connecticut, it was kind of a hot spot for everything. There was ice dance, there was a bit of pairs. Katya and Sergey trained in Simsbury. Freestyle. So, I started, being obsessed with watching Yagudin skate, and he was actually one of the ones that helped me get the majority of my triples. When I moved to dance, I was obsessed with Marina and Gwendol and Tessa and Scott, and about 6 months after I started ice dance, I met Marina and Gwendol, and right about maybe a year before, it was a year before Maddie and I partnered up, I finally got to actually train a year with both Marilyn, Charlie, and Tessa and Scott. And so I've been fortunate enough to kind of have all those experiences from my earliest levels to when I then actually got motivated to be a successful athlete.
What are your favorite things to do off the ice? What do you do to keep busy?
My favorite to do off the ice is nothing. No. I'm kind of known as someone who really doesn't do that much socially. I don't go out too much. I'm definitely a homebody. As I said before, I love makeup videos, so I do a lot of playing makeup, and now Caitlin Hawaii is training here, and she is probably equally obsessed with makeup. So actually, tomorrow night we are doing a little makeup party with 2 people. So a sad part.
Fun.
But we're excited. And otherwise, I cook pretty much every day. I cook dinner for Adrian and whoever else wants to come over. Gabriella sometimes. And I'm kind of just like a typical old lady. I knit. I scrapbook. I cook and hang out with my dog. So pretty cool.
Wow. Well, I feel like an old man, but I'm more active than that. See, I love being outside as long as the weather is not absolutely dreadful. I love writing music, playing guitar. Let's see, I sing more than anyone should during a day, to the point where I think most people want to throw things at me.
What do you like singing?
Say that again?
What do you like to sing?
If it's not rap, I'm probably going to enjoy singing it. I've sing everything from country to classical to, love songs, ballads, a little Michael Bublé while I'm here in Canada, never heard. Singing along while I play some John Mayer. I actually really do enjoy working out. Even if it wasn't a requirement, I would probably have one of my hobbies being in the gym. My girlfriend and I are a big fan of brunch, this new wonderful millennial discovery. So we'll usually, make one of the weekend days kind of just a time for us to go and enjoy brunch. I also love video games and movies. I don't think there's anything on Netflix that's worth seeing I haven't seen yet. That's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Madison, you have a TV commercial coming up. What is the product, and did you have an amazing time filming it?
I do. I have my first ever commercial coming out, and it is for Brown Honda over in my hometown in Toledo, and I'm super excited. It's a local group of dealers. I have it on my car, www.northwestohiohondadealers.com. And they were so sweet. I messaged them, and I said that my lease had expired, last November, and I was really looking for a solution, and if there was any way they could give me a discount or just help me out finding a cheaper car. And they were incredibly gracious, and they actually made a deal with me for some commercials and appearances through the next 4 years. And I have my Honda Civic now. So it was my first commercial. I had fun. The crew was really nice. But it is very different to just show up and not talk about skating, right? Because it's really easy to talk about yourself. You don't need much of a script. But when someone gives you a line and they're like, say it now, it's a little bit more challenging. And it's funny because I guess kind of on the ice, if you do a small expression, it doesn't show. It's the same. So I found it hard because I felt so comically and this is their new car. And then you see it back in the video, and it's and this is your new car. It's so, It's so different. So it was really fun. I'm looking forward to working with them for the next like 3.5 or so years. And hopefully, I'll get some more opportunities. My commercials will get better and better. But yeah, I'm interested for when it finally plays, what friends and family will have to say about that.
Does it have a release date? Did they tell you when it's going to?
They haven't. They haven't. I know that there is some social media stuff they're planning to put out, and those videos are like extra cool because they're super long. So they're a little bit more interview based, and then it has the video of the first time I drove the car. So that's really fun. They did a great job. I have them on my computer, but I can't share them. So I don't know exactly when they're coming out.
Okay. You said you love makeup. Do you have any tricks to applying makeup to look your best?
I wear
no, I don't.
that much makeup, so this is all Maddie.
Yeah. Makeup. The easiest makeup tip for skating is like just to put on more than you think you need in the way of like layers, especially foundation and the face products, because inevitably you're exercising and you're on TV. So, they're going to super zoom on your sweat. So hopefully you are powdered enough. But, I think I'm starting my YouTube channel. I just posted my first video this past week. And I'm kind of trying to put as many tips and tricks for daily life, but also for performance on there. So if you just search Madison Hubbell makeup on YouTube, it will pop up.
What are some of your favorite places to travel to for either competitions or for leisure?
Mm-hmm.
I would say so far my favorite leisure destination has been Mexico. It's been the only place I've actually taken an actual vacation, like pay to go somewhere and just enjoy, nothing to do with, any kind of business or skating, or even like those family trips that are always nice. You don't really feel like you get a chance to just get away and breathe. Outside of that, my favorite places to travel to would definitely be Japan and France. And Japanese culture is by far my favorite culture to, outside of course, being myself, just study and enjoy immersing myself in. So.
And of course, the skating fans.
Oh, they're awesome. Japanese fans are the coolest skating fans. They know more about skating than I do. Like they are one of a kind, yeah, or a million of a kind. There's a lot of Japanese skating fans.
And Madison, favorite places?
For non-skating trips, my favorite is definitely home. So my first home, of course, with my family is in Sylvania. But now I kind of have my second family with my fiance in Spain, and who doesn't like going to Barcelona? So those are my two favorite places to go and visit when I'm not skating. And otherwise for skating, it's probably the same. I'd always love competing in the U.S., but the Japanese fans are just bountiful, we could say. So many, and you just feel like your sport is so appreciated in that culture, and so that's definitely a great feeling.
Okay, so you've had your pets with you almost the entire time. What are their names, and what do you like most about them?
My dog is a Pomeranian Husky. Her name is Nova. I got her with Adrian the year after I moved here, so she's 3 now. I think that she's the most beautiful dog in the world. And I don't know. It's so hard. You're a dog owner, so you absolutely
your dog
love
has
everything
one
about
very
her.
strong personality trait. Don't even pretend.
Yeah, she has a lot of personality, but I think the one thing that she does that is basically only with me, and that I love about her is that no matter when, what time of day or what's going on, if I lay down on the couch, she always comes and lays down by my legs and puts her head on my leg. And that's something that she really only does with me. So that's probably my favorite.
I would have to say, first of all, because I know Olivia's going to see this, and she'll kill me if I don't clarify this, that, I am daddy, but these are her boys. But they love their daddy. Duke is definitely way more of her dog. He's weird. Like, he's a little bit of a derp. Like, he just gets himself into weird situations and kind of has a really quirky personality. Goes randomly from, like, very energetic to also just being the lazy. Like, you have to drag him up the stairs to go to the bathroom, and he just looks at you like he doesn't care. Jax, on the other hand, hey, you haven't been on the camera yet. Come say hi. Come here. Come here, big boy. Oh, this is my boy.
He's the fat one.
Jax. He's my big boy. And he is like the affectionate lover, sweetheart. Like, I can't go anywhere. If I get up off the couch, he's standing right there next to me, looking at me like, what are you doing? Are you okay? I'm coming. I go to bed, like, every single morning when I wake up, that dog is touching me somehow, whether he's curled up in my legs or, like, I've really woken up to him, like, having his paws on my face. And, like, he's just super, super loving. He's actually just starting to come out of his shell. Like, he's a little over 2. And this year, like a week ago, is the first time I ever heard him bark. So now they're showing off. So I'm sure you can hear them in the background. But yeah, this used to be a one-way street. So they're very diverse.
What sort of unique challenges and advantages are there to dating another ice dancer?
Obviously, it has to be different for everybody. For myself, I've dated people in the sport and not in the sport. And, even other athletes. But certainly one advantage is that, Adrian can be fully secure in our relationship and our commitment to each other, even if Zach and I, in some ways are known for being, sexy chemistry, bluesy style. And certainly, there's so many fans that don't know my personal life. And you get a bunch of messages like, oh my God, when are you getting married? Or they saw my ring and they're like, Zach, congratulations. So having somebody in the sport, it does make it really easy. And you don't end up ever having to explain yourself like, oh, Marie-France wants us to kiss in this section. And Adrian's like, oh, okay, he doesn't mind. That's great. And otherwise, I just think being, a top elite athlete, trying to go for that Olympic dream, it's hard to find, people that understand kind of selfishness that goes into that. And the fact that you can be there for them and you can have a great relationship, but in certain moments, you just have to step away and you just have to have your own time. And so definitely having that understanding between the four of us in general is really helpful. And I don't really see many cons.
There is one.
Oh, you have a con?
I do have a con, and it's only because both of our, just for the sake of ease, partners are skaters who train at our rink. It's a lot of skating. Like, it's a lot of skating. So while it's a con that every, skating comes up 1,000 times a day when you're at home sitting on the couch, or at the same time, you really get to treasure the things. Like, you find strong memories doing things that don't involve skating. So, yeah, a con kind of turned a pro, but yeah, there you go. I had to think of something. I was like, there's got to be something. We can't just be like, oh, it's fantastic.
You were in Stars on Ice this year. You toured a good part of the summer. How was that experience?
Long.
Yeah. No, the shows are amazing. It's a thing that I'm hoping and dreaming is that, we keep growing a fan base of figure skating in the U.S. And that people keep coming to the shows so that we don't have to only do shows on the weekends. Because 22 shows, you're like, that's not that many. And then you realize that you're traveling for 7 weekends in a row. And you're like, that's a lot. so that's the really tiring part, is that we don't do shows during the week. So we don't do like the typical tour bus life that, you know, we always heard about. And that frankly sounds so cool, and maybe it's not, but it sounds like so like you're a superstar. You have a tour bus. And that's what I think we're hoping at some point, is we can experience that, and the tour will go from being 7 weeks to 3 or 4 weeks. That would be great. But otherwise, it is a really, really fun show. You get to meet people every single show backstage that are just like so thrilled to be there. And some people come to multiple shows, and to see that there are still quite a few like very devoted figure skating fans. That's always great to see. And we get a little bit, I don't even know the right word, but we get a little bit lost in the competition and lost in our goals and always reaching for more. But to do a tour like that is a great chance to step back and be like, okay, I'm the person that I watched when I was 10, and there are a bunch of little girls coming to me and hoping that I'll sign their poster, and that's just a really cool thing to experience.
Do either of you have plans for after skating? Did you ever think, okay, when this ends, this is what I want to be doing?
I'm going to change your wording from plans to dreams, because, you know, everyone wants to go to the Olympics and only a few people get to do that. And so it's a dream until it becomes a reality kind of mentality. I'm very passionate about choreography. I'm trying to decide whether I think I could really settle into a full-time coaching position, or if I want to just be a choreographer and kind of traveling and working with people. But aside from that, recently, ever since I kind of started enjoying lifting, I've been watching a lot of shows and interviews and stuff about fitness, and I want to open up a gym, a very large scale gym, to kind of educate people about an active lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, a way of moving. Not everything has to be running on a treadmill, looking at a blank wall, picking up weights, and, you know, trying to listen to screamo music. So those are kind of my immediate desires, but, you know, life has a way of kind of throwing everything into a tizzy in always the best way. So I think of those things, but I'm also open to whatever's going to come down the road next.
Well, getting married to a Spaniard has definitely complicated things in the way that, you know, we don't know what the future holds, even where I'm going to live. You know, our dream would be to split our time and be in a very mobile situation. One dream that we have together would be to bring more skating, and especially ice dance, into Spain. They do have several rinks, and, you know, they just haven't been able to get someone to really dedicate time and energy into that project. So certainly to, you know, work within the Spanish Federation, to work with their skaters and try and harvest the talent that we know is there in that country. That's one project. And the other project I have on this side of the globe is with my mother. She, as we know, has been a seamstress all of her life, making my costumes and other things, fashion pieces. And so we've actually started our own company, Madison. It's in the production process, and probably not too long from now, we'll have our website launched and the first few products. And we're looking to create a lifestyle brand, start with home goods and fashion pieces that, that I like to use in my own life. And that kind of income and that project with her will kind of help finance the opportunity, you know, to work in Spain, where the community isn't strong enough to really support a full-time gig. So, you know, I have kind of two passion projects that really help balance each other out. And 3.5 years is really not long to get those started. So kind of working on them little by little as these years go by, so that things are set up fairly well by the end of this cycle. But really exciting, like just as Zach said, like a lot of ideas, but no plans because everything takes time and everything kind of veers off in another direction. I was like, I'm gonna start a brand. I'll make a website. I'm not a tech person, and it's taking a while.
Favorite video game, Zach?
Ooh, that's a hard one actually. I'm like an MMORPG kind of guy, so love the Halo series. Gosh, I don't know my brother and I play Destiny together. That's kind of what we stay in contact. I hate Call of Duty.
Favorite TV show, if any?
Ooh.
Oh, it's so hard. I watch a lot of TV.
Okay, shows that you've been watching, that you watch every single week. How about that?
Ooh.
Shows that I've been watching every single week. I don't have cable, so I watch everything on Netflix. I just started watching The Good Place. I do like that one a lot. I like a lot of like documentary series. So I watch a lot of like drug series or there's some new one, Locked Up, on Netflix. Hardest Prison, those kinds of things. I like those.
Friends, Supernatural, and Longmire.
Favorite program that you guys have done? Do you have one?
This one so far. I mean, I have happy memories of last year's Worlds. It was a breakthrough for us, and it was an awesome program, and there's some really incredible memories and shifts that we had. But I'm actually really loving performing. Like, I actually enjoy training and performing this program, whereas that hasn't really existed as a complete cycle for me.
Do you have a favorite competition every single year?
The last one.
The last competition of the year?
No.
I would say that Worlds.
Yeah, the last one.
Just because, not because of our own performance. I feel like it's pretty equal all the time. But because there's more opportunity for more people to go. So it's such a big skating event. And like last year, I think we had 8 teams in ice dance from Montreal. So just like the sheer numbers makes it such a fun, like, family event.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. Thank you for watching our little chat, and we hope to see you this weekend at Skate America.
And for all of you Canadian fans, we hope to see you the week after at Skate Canada.